everybody, this is Connie Joe with Soul Navigation, and I am so happy you're here for the third part of my Pluto series. And today we're going to do the aspects which make such a difference in the chart, the way your Pluto is aspected. So for those of you that didn't see the first two videos, please go back and watch. It's Pluto through the houses. It'll be well worth your time. And if you didn't see those, I just want to say a little bit about what Pluto means in the chart. So Pluto rules Scorpio, rules the 8th house. Now, just a tip, the ancient ruler of Scorpio before Pluto was discovered is Mars. I just want you to keep that in mind. Okay, but Pluto rules psychology. It's control, it's dominion, it's things that are taboo, occult, it's very sexual. Pluto is like going to the depths. It take you down in order to bring you back up, like the phoenix from the ashes. Pluto is regenerative, it regenerates, and it transforms. So the key word is transformation. Well, let's start with those aspects. Okay. I want to start actually with Mercury. I'm going to save the lights for last, but I want you to see this. Okay. So we have the harmonious aspects, which are the trine and the sextile. I have the conjunction put in the middle because it can kind of go either way. And then we have the hard aspects, the square and the opposition. So you can find these aspects in your chart. So when you have a harmonious aspect with Mercury and Pluto together, your thinking is very deep. You're able to go on a deeper level with everything. You are probably not afraid to communicate about sexual matters, death. You're not afraid to talk about things that are taboo. You are not afraid to communicate these things. You probably enjoy watching TV that's about detective shows, or maybe a little more, it might be a little macabre, a little taboo, a little occult. And this is not a bad thing. You would make a great psychologist, great detective. Now, the same goes for the hard aspects, with this exception. When you have a hard aspect from Mercury to Pluto, you may get obsessed with these types of thoughts. You may, it may be hard to stop thinking about things that are taboo or sexual things. You know, this could be an aspect where you enjoy porn to maybe to a point that it's detrimental to you. So you may just really get obsessed with things Plutonian. Think about them all the time. Want to talk about them all the time. So the harmonious aspects are easier, but you can always overcome the hard aspects in your chart. That's what they're there for, to teach us so we can grow as a soul, grow as a person. Now, if you have Venus in aspect to Pluto, and it's a harmonious aspect, and maybe even the conjunction in this one, you love so deeply. The people that you fall in love with, in particular romantically, you love with all your heart. You are loyal. You would take a bullet in a heartbeat for the people you love. It runs so deep. And it's so strong, those feelings that you have for the person that you're in love with. Now, if it's in a harder aspect, the square or the opposition, this may turn to obsession with a person or extreme jealousy. The Pluto-Venus aspect is definitely, I think, one of jealousy. And it could be really hard to handle. But these people that have these aspects are some of the deepest, most loving, most loyal people that there are. You know, and another thing with Pluto and Venus, you could become obsessed with beauty, with all things Venus. You know, wanting to maybe having plastic surgery to the extreme. You know, obsessed with all things beautiful, which may not be a bad thing. But it may go to an extreme if you have this in hard aspect. So what if you have Pluto-Mars aspects? Now, I'm going to be honest. These are tough aspects to have. Even the harmonious aspects are not easy. And this is why. Because Mars used to rule Scorpio, remember? So both of these planets have this very scorpionic aspect to them. Mars is your sexual drive, that impetus to get up and go. It's anger. And we know about Pluto, taboo, control, obsessiveness, dominion, but also the ability to transform. That's the key word, transform. Okay, so if you have a Pluto-Mars aspect, particularly the hard aspects, the square and the opposition, there's a good chance that you may have been abused in some way, not just sexual abuse, but other kinds of abuse as well, you know, verbal, physical, emotional abuse. There's all kinds of abusiveness, not just sexual or physical. And for people see when someone has this Pluto-Mars aspect, they can almost feel the power in that person. Really, I think that is why they are so subject to having for abuse, because people sense that power, and a lot of people, they want to overcome this power. This can be a rape aspect. You know, people that have the harder aspects may have rages, may have extreme anger that's hard to control. But this is how I choose to look at this aspect. I want you to see it this way, the really good way. So Mars is that fighter in you. Mars is that get up and go, that drive we all have. So if Mars is the prize fighter, he is going to fight until the bitter end. And when Mars falls, that's when Pluto is going to step in and say, get up. Get up. Get up. You can rise above abuse. You can rise above anger. You can be that phoenix rising from the ashes. This is how that Pluto-Mars can be used in a positive way to keep you going. You know, these people that have suffered with this aspect can also be the same people that would be the most brilliant counselors, the most brilliant speakers on these subjects that some consider taboo. There's a song by the band Shinedown that says, stand up for yourself. When are you going to stand up for yourself? And that's what I think of with Mars Pluto. When you've been beaten down, Pluto is the planet that will rise up and help you. Okay, enough of that. So let's go on to the lights. So if you have an aspect between the Sun and Pluto, these people, especially the harmonious aspects, they have a sense of power about them. They have a drive. You know, your Sun is like your ego, but they have a drive to rise to the top, to be number one, to really make something of their life. They can be very powerful and be in positions of power at the same time. Now, if you had an aspect, if you had the square or the opposition, it may work a little more like this, where you don't quite, you have that impetus, that desire to rise to the top, to be number one, to be the best in your field, but you feel like you've got to change things, like you're not quite good enough, to be the person you want to be. So you may see a person that has the Sun Pluto aspect kind of transform themselves. Their ego, their personality may transform. That's what Pluto will do. Go in there, be the person you want to be. I'll help you. It's not going to be easy, but I'll help you. Now, another one of the hardest aspects is Moon and Pluto. If you have a Pluto Moon aspect, you have such a deep emotional life. But if you have one of the harder aspects, the square opposition, you may try to keep it hidden. It's like you're so emotional, you crave that, you've got to have more than just every day. It's like that's what you feed on, emotional drama. And when you have the aspect is in the square or the opposition, it's almost like you feel kind of devoured emotionally. And a lot of times people that have these aspects, they don't let other people get too close. Now they might feed off of someone else's drama and want to hear the stories of divorce or abuse, or they may watch every crime time TV show there is, because that's kind of what they need. They need a little bit more. They need to go deeper emotionally, but they probably won't let you in to see how they are really feeling. They protect their emotions. Now, especially with the easy aspects, the trine and the sextile, you've got a person that is very, very psychologically in tune with other people's emotions. They can read you like a book from a mile away, and usually they're right on about it. They can sense emotions in other people, and they can sense how deep other people are actually. This is an aspect that really is a transformation. I want to read you something from a brilliant astrologer, and because it really says it all. You have the capacity to transform your life by using emotional catharsis and honest confrontation with the buried treasure within your psyche as an ally to heal yourself and others. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? That you have that capacity to heal yourself and others when you can come to terms with that Pluto Moon aspect. Now, I didn't say anything about Jupiter and Saturn. I really consider these a little bit more generational. But I will say this, that if you have a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in your chart, that's considered the millionaire conjunction. So think about that. Everybody look for that in your charts. And hey, please hit that like button. And if you'd like a reading with me or one of the other brilliant readers at Soul Navigation, you can see the description box below for the details. And oh, one more thing, Saturn. Now, with Saturn, it really is generational. Like everyone that was born from 64, 5 to 67, 68, around those times, they had a Pluto-Uranus conjunction in an opposition to Saturn and Chiron. So, some people had it closer than others, but this whole span of people had this aspect. So Saturn really is more generational. Another thing with Jupiter, if you had Jupiter in hard aspect to Pluto, it might really challenge your belief systems and your faith. That could be a challenge with those aspects. I should have left it with the millionaire aspect, right? Okay, everybody, I'm Connie Joe, and this series has been so much fun, and I hope to see you again soon.